Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Jay, and this is the 2016 BMW 750i xDrive. Now, this is not your normal luxury large sedan. It's one of those cars that it's just as much fun to be chauffeured around in as it is to actually drive it. It is essentially one big technology and luxury showcase for BMW, and with that, today's unboxing review video, it's gonna be a little longer than my other unboxing reviews because there's just so much to talk about with this car. There's so much technology and so much luxury and innovation, and I want to show you just the best parts about it. But just to start off with, I want to say that today's 7 Series is like yesterday's Rolls-Royce Ghost. Now, the Rolls-Royce Ghost, it shares the same platform as the previous generation 7 Series, and the Ghost launched in 2010, and it's a Rolls-Royce full of luxury, but BMW has just, pushed it even further with its new flagship here, and by the end of this review, you'll understand why I'm comparing this new 7 Series to that Rolls-Royce. As you know, that's a brand, such as my review of the Rolls-Royce Wraith, that is just all about the finest luxury in the world. So, to give you a brief history of the 7 Series, it first debuted back in 1977, and with every new generation, it's just become a bit bigger, more luxurious, and the technologies just increase as well. For an example, in 2002, when the 4th generation 7 Series came out, it debuted BMW's iDrive system. That is a system that is now standard in just about every BMW in the lineup. It's become more refined over the years, but iDrive was the perfect innovation for BMW for the 21st century, and the 7 Series was the perfect car to demonstrate it in for the first time. Now, looking at the design here, in some markets you can actually get the 7 Series in the long wheelbase, but this is a standard wheelbase version. It has this Arctic gray metallic exterior color, and BMW's design chief Karim Habib, he and I were talking at Geneva last year, and he was telling me some of his principles to design, and that he believes that every design needs to innovate, it needs to bring something new to the table, and that good proportions are essential to him, as well as like the little details. For an example, he said that the smallest detail, even the way like a light turns on, matters. And looking at this design, everything from these 20-inch wheels to the headlights to the way the side mirrors fold in and out, the detail that was done, it's just spectacular. And I understand Mr. Habib's philosophy more so than ever after spending some time with this new 7 Series. I also really like that bit of chrome all along the bottom there. It's that standard, and it gives the car a striking presence. However, I don't think BMW pushed the design or the exterior design philosophy enough. It's a little conservative. I would have liked to have seen something a little more radical, but that's just me. Now, under the hood here is a 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8. It's got a total of 440 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque. So the base engine in the 7 Series and the 740i, it's a twin-turbo 3-liter inline-6 with 320 horsepower. Obviously, the 750i is the upgraded, more expensive version, and when you add the X as an xDrive to it, that means it's all-wheel drive. The 7 Series, like the 3 and 5 Series, it comes standard with rear-wheel drive. And I'll get to the interior technologies and details in a few more minutes here, but the colors you're looking at, it's like ivory white with black Napa leather, there's chestnut wood trim. It's just a wonderful package. You even see that diamond stitching on the leather seats. Again, that's stuff you normally saw only a few years ago on, only cars like a Rolls-Royce, a Bentley, but now it's in the 7 Series. And it's it's very interesting when it comes to pricing, which I'll get to later as well. And all the metal you see here, again, none of that is plastic. It is all real metal. Nothing is cheap here whatsoever. And the wood trim, if you can get a good look at it there, it's really, really beautiful. So this car's platform, it was, like I said, it was originally designed as a rear-wheel drive, but it's called a carbon core platform. It uses a combination of carbon fiber reinforced plastic, ultra tensile steels, and aluminum. Even the doors and hood are made of aluminum. But what's also really impressive is that the 7 Series has an equal 50-50 weight distribution. And that's really impressive and difficult to do it from an engineering aspect. So full props to BMW for that. And as you can imagine, a car like this, it's very heavy. It weighs just over 4,600 pounds, even with those, those lighter and stronger steels, the aluminum, and the carbon fiber. And in addition, this new 7 Series, it's an inch longer in length than its immediate predecessor. So it's bigger, but yet weight is down. So quite impressive. And it also has 4 driving modes: Sport, Comfort, Eco Pro, and Adaptive. And even in Eco Pro, the best fuel mileage rating I was able to get was 21 miles per gallon. It's not a green car, let's leave it at that. So let's start up the engine here and see how that sounds with that push button start right there. Alright, so how is the new 7 Series in terms of performance? Well, I was able to get from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.3 seconds, which is actually pretty good for a car of this weight. What was good is I noticed little to no turbo lag. And the 7 Series, it also comes with launch control, but I just didn't get a chance to use it. So now let's start talking about the various packages and some of the really cool features in this car. First off, there's the Autobahn pack, which I really recommend for anyone who really likes to drive. It costs an extra $4,100, but it has active steering control, black painted calipers, and with that active steering control, it's actually like active 4-wheel steering, which just adds overall just much better control in general. Now you also have the Driver Assistant Plus package, and that includes a bunch of safety features such as front collision warning, daytime pedestrian protection, blind spot detection. There's also the interior design package for an extra $1,800 that adds more wood trim to the front and rear, such as in the armrest, Alcantara headliner. And then you have the luxury seating package for an extra $3,900. You get a heated steering wheel with front and rear heated seats and armrests, and rear massaging seats and rear ventilated seats as well. And what you're looking at here is, of course, the iDrive system, as I already mentioned. So first off, this is the first time iDrive is being offered with a touchscreen. And basically what iDrive is, I just want to explain this to you. It keeps track of all the car's, important things. It's basically, it gives the driver complete control over many of the vehicle's functions while allowing the driver to concentrate on the road. And it controls everything from the entertainment, the information, communication, and navigation functions. And BMW says the goal is basically to separate the display and steering. And the steering mainly comprises of the control display and the controller in the center console. And the control element was developed according to the most basic modern biometric principles. It's easy to use, and it can be operated with one hand without needing to see what you're doing, and this way you can keep your eyes on the road. And the 4 most frequently used functions, which is the CD player, radio, telephone, and navigation system, are assigned to buttons above the controller itself. And then there's an additional 8 buttons located underneath the CD and DVD player that can be programmed as however you desire, whether it's your favorite radio stations, CD titles, telephone numbers, or destinations. Now, iDrive in this case is equipped with voice control for an even more comfortable input option, and the height and the width of the control display are optimally positioned to suit the driver, and all the information, it's displayed in this nice glare-free high-resolution screen above the center console. And the menu navigation, it follows basically the standard method used in computing, and it's just overall very, very intuitive. And this car also has a Wi-Fi hotspot, and what else does it have? So many interesting stuff like 4-zone climate control, wireless charging, night vision with pedestrian protection, and the touch screen there is actually a 10.2 inch resolution screen with a head-up display. And that's actually a very good head-up display. Why? Because it takes up a perfect portion of the glass, and the display itself was very, very crisp. But again, throughout, I just want you to take a look at all the little fine details here. The wood, the metal, the leather. Another interesting thing is that in European models, the new 7 Series can actually do like automatic parallel and perpendicular parking, which the driver can control with a key, like literally a key fob. But BMW was not able to make that legal in the US just yet. I've been told it's going to come, but it might take a few more years, and it's kind of too bad because I really wanted to have a chance to demonstrate that for you. But it's just sort of the next generation of autonomous driving that BMW is really trying to push the technological limits of as well. And I think their big competitor with that is going to be Tesla. So it's going to be very interesting to watch that BMW versus Tesla and even Mercedes-Benz competition in that realm over the next just 2 to 3 years. Another thing that's really, really cool, it's gesture control. And you got to think that is the next generation of touch screens, but you don't have to physically touch anything. It works with the iDrive touchscreen. Various functions can be operated and defined by hand movements like swiping or pointing. There's a recognition area above the center console, and gesturing will trigger a function like accepting or rejecting an incoming phone call, and swiping a hand left or right will deny that call, and twirling a finger clockwise turns the radio up, and twirling that finger counterclockwise turns it down. And by pointing 2 fingers, you can start the nav system and even tune the radio. It's really, really neat. My general impressions of it, I really liked it, but I also felt it was a little finicky, and over time, with more development, this will for sure improve. But just kind of like iDrive back in 2002, this gesture control, it's the next generation of technology that BMW is trying out for the first time in this car, the 7 Series, and I would not be surprised to even find it in a future BMW 3 Series within the next 10 years or so. As you can see here, there's also a regular power sunroof, but when I get to the rear seat, there's a whole panoramic sunroof as well, and that's just really cool. As I said, that's Alcantara headliner up at the top. It's just a complete luxury package. And there's that 2-axle air suspension, and it's coordinated with BMW's dynamic damper control. Again, for such a big car, you're going to want to be able to, have as much control over it as possible. And with all the electronics that BMW has packed into here, it makes driving this car almost feel like you're driving a smaller car. I did find the steering kind of light as opposed to kind of tighter and sporty, but I think lighter steering in a car like this is appropriate. But check out these front driver and passenger seat. Just by the way it moves, it's just in every direction possible. And no matter your height, you can find the perfect seating position, and of course there's a memory function as well. Alright, so now that you've seen the front of the car and the exterior design, I want to take some time to talk about the rear seats. As I mentioned earlier in the review, this car, it's just as much fun to drive, as it is to be like chauffeured around in. And here you have what they call the executive lounge seating package. That is actually what BMW calls it, and it costs an additional $5,750, but it's really, really worth it. You get things such as rear seats that recline, and they have ventilated temperatures, a footrest, executive lounge rear console, rear massaging seats, and entertainment. There's even a panoramic sky lounge with an LED roof, and as you saw, the 10-inch touchscreens mounted in the rear of the front headrests. And this car also has 4-zone automatic climate control, obviously for the 2 front seat passengers and also for the 2 rear seat passengers as well. Now, this is really, really cool. I want to talk about this. This is actually a 7-inch Samsung Galaxy tablet. It's removable, and let me explain it to you. It's in the armrest between the 2 rear seats, and it gives the rear seat passengers complete control over those 2 10-inch touchscreens as well as the iDrive system. And with that tablet, you can even request things like in-seat massages. It'll play music and videos on those monitors as well. And then there's something also called the Vitality Program, and that even offers 8 different exercise programs to mobilize the muscles of your back and shoulders. And this interactive body training, it's displayed on the rear seat entertainment monitors. So, and there's even sensors integrated into the rear seats to give feedback to ensure that the exercises are performed to the absolute, to the optimum. And if you ever use a regular tablet, what's nice about this is that BMW partnered with Samsung. It's very familiar to use for anyone who has a Samsung smartphone. Even if you have an iPhone, obviously, it's just very user friendly, and it's one of those further things that BMW they're just pushing the technology envelope every way. And rear seat passengers, there's almost no point to being a front seat passenger in this car anymore. Obviously, driving it is fun, but I think being a rear seat passenger is equally fun as well, because look what you get to play with. You can get a massage while you drive. And because people they gotta check themselves out and look good, they have mirrors right there as well. Now, here's a good display of just how you can adjust the left rear seat. And you're going to see in a moment that the right rear seat is a bit different and even better. Even notice the little details, how the 7 is stitched right into that headrest right there. Yeah, just a really, really cool thing. And I love this. You can get all the privacy that you need. These sunshades that come in, they keep out the sun. But, I saw these features only a few years ago on Mercedes' now defunct Maybach brand, and it's really cool that they're now in a 7 Series as well. It's just one of those little nice things to have. Okay, so the right rear passenger seat. So the right rear passenger can fold the front passenger seat flat, and it goes literally, as you see, all the way up to the dash. And then you can have that fold-out power footrest, and you can recline the seat right here up to 43 degrees. And you even have that airplane-style fold-out table. That is just so cool. And I'm about average height, and I even felt that somebody around 6 feet tall can be pretty comfortable just reclining like that too. You can't lie completely flat, but it's just, if you're going on a long trip, in my opinion, unless you're driving, the right rear passenger seat, that is the one to be in. You just take a nap. It's really that simple. And you can also, of course, open up that panoramic sunroof and just look up at the sky right above you. It's not a bad way to travel at all. Now this is cool. You can open up the trunk, obviously, with just the key fob, but if you wave your foot under the rear bumper, it'll open up automatically as well. That's actually a feature that I believe even the Ford Escape and the Ford Edge now offer, but this is a standard feature on the 7 Series too. And as you can see, the trunk is very, very large. This is a full-size luxury sedan. People need a lot of trunk space. They're obviously going to be carrying things like a couple of golf club bags, long road trip bags. You can get a couple of suitcases in there. This is just my basic camera equipment, and as you can see, there's just plenty of space left over. So what's the competition for the new 7 Series here? Well, you're obviously going to have the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, the Audi A8, and even the new Cadillac CT6. I have not reviewed any of those cars yet. I plan to, but in my opinion, I think the 7 Series, its most direct rival is the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. That car was recently redesigned. The Audi A8 is also, it's kind of older. The new Cadillac is brand new as well. But Mercedes and BMW, they're longtime competitors, and I think when you look at the features of the new S-Class and the 7 Series, you're going to see a lot of similarity in terms of luxury and comfort. So pricing, well, a base 740i with rear-wheel drive, it starts at $81,300. Now the base price for the 750i xDrive that you see here is $97,400. But with all those features added in, I said that it's over $30,000 worth. You're going to get to about $129,245 for this car. And I want to bring up an interesting point here. I checked this, and a Rolls-Royce Ghost, as I mentioned earlier, it has a starting price of $250,000. But like I said, you're getting a lot of very similar features, especially with the inclusion of that rear executive lounge seating package. And $250 versus, well, $130,000. It makes you wonder, should you even bother with a Rolls-Royce unless you have to have, the Rolls-Royce name? That's entirely up to you. But this 7 Series, obviously, it impressed me for many, many reasons. All right, everybody, I'm out of time for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any more questions for me, please leave them in the comments section below. If you have any suggestions for other cars you'd like for me to unbox, also leave those suggestions in the comments. And be sure to check out the full review of the 2016 BMW 750i xDrive on carbuzz.com. So, thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you all next time.